Bad Situations Part 3. This has been a very good little series we got going on. Yo, cucumber juice and mint. Straight bussin'. Yo, go try it out. But look though, Bad Situations. This has been a little series that the Lord has snuck up on your boy, and I just been riding it out till the wheels fall off. As again, we're gonna try to get this word out of the way because some of y'all going over the prophetic peach. AP's wife, Miss Angel. Shout out, Miss Angel. When y'all get over there, make sure you tell her that I took her in consideration when I gave my live tonight. I ain't trying to hate on nobody. We've been talking about David. And David has placed himself in a bad situation. He slept with a married woman and he got her pregnant. So now he trying to cover it up. You know, he messed up because the law says if you ever get caught up in adultery, you're supposed to die according to the law of Moses. And plus, this is a man that sought after God's own heart. So we expect a little bit more from David. Plus, he's the king of God's chosen people. So we have some high expectations from David. We don't expect perfection from David, but David, you slept with a married woman, got her pregnant, and now you were trying to figure it out in your own strength. That's what we're going to dive in tonight. How many of y'all are guilty of saying this phrase right here? And you think you really be cooking when you say it, when you're dealing with relationship, or either you're at work. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. We have to think beyond romantic relationships. Just in relationships overall, you have found yourself saying this popular phrase that y'all really thinking y'all be cooking when y'all be saying it. Don't worry about it. I'll just do it myself. You guilty of saying that? Are you guilty of saying, don't worry about it, I'll do it myself? I want to see it in the comments. How many of y'all be thinking y'all be cooking by saying this stuff like that? Demi says she be doing it. Melissa doing it. Crystal, Christy, Tiki. Oh, QB said, nah, she don't do it. Okay, QB. I see you, QB. Nicole, Janeria, Official Some, Chantel, the Martin Coach. Look at your face. I used to say it. She don't say it no more. Sunflower. Okay, I appreciate the transparency. JJ says she used to. Curly says she don't. Kim says she don't. Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. But some of us, like me, I don't say that phrase, but I have been guilty of, I'm not even going to ask you to do it. Mercedes says she used to do it. She don't do it no more. I've never used that phrase. I just be like, you know what? I ain't even going to ask nobody for help. And it's really come from a toxic place, for real, for real. It was my fear of rejection. And that's what we're going to dive into tonight. We're going to talk about this characteristic, this trait that a lot of us are bragging about, and we don't realize that it's toxicity, and it really prevents us from having effective relationships earthly, and it also prevents us from having a close relationship with God because we take that same energy to God. I'll do it myself. Don't even worry about it. Some of us trying to fix situations right now that you hadn't even prayed about, but you go do it yourself. Okay, then, Miss Independent, Mr. Macho Man. Okay. Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself while God sit back and watch you exhaust yourself and mess this situation all the way up because you're trying to do it on your own. This is what discourages me, and this is what frustrates me about the kingdom. A couple of weeks ago, a young lady sent me a clip, 2-minute clip, maybe minute and a half clip of Pastor Mike Jr. I don't have nothing against Pastor Mike. Most of the stuff that I listen to about with him speaking, he's a dynamic speaker, mighty man of God, very anointed, very gifted. But he got this one particular clip that's circulating around social media that's got a lot of comments. It's got a lot of shares. It would be considered going viral. Let me tell you what he's talking about. He's talking about he walked into the house with some grocery bags and his kids sitting on the couch watching him walk in the house with grocery bags, and none of them asked him, did he need any help? So he used that scenario to encourage the people. You shouldn't ask nobody for help. The kid should have automatically knew that he needs some help. So the people that's out there that really needs help, you waiting on somebody to read your mind. That's pretty much what he said. He wants somebody to read his mind like he needs some help. How many of us are guilty of expecting other people to read your mind because you need some help? The Bible never instructs us to do that. You shouldn't expect your kids, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your husband, your wife, Reggie, Pastor Mike, or anybody else to read your mind. You need to open your... Nope. God, you should not expect God to read your mind. You got to open your mouth if you need some help. So when she sent that to me, I was like, no. She was like, isn't that good? I was like, no. You know me, I'll tell you no real quick. No, that wasn't good. I don't agree with that. Now, if I would agree with it, when I disagree with something, I don't solicit my opinion about something. But since she jumped in my inbox, I said, nope. No, I don't agree with that. I don't expect people to read my mind. If you need some help, open your mouth and ask someone for some help. But that's don't worry about it, I'll do it myself type of mentality. So as I'm writing these notes and coming up with the word of the Lord this morning, because I'm all out of my routine. I was supposed to go live yesterday, but I'm getting the word to you today. So I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I'm coming up with this word and I'm scrolling on Facebook, right? And you know our friend, Hart Ramsey. Hart Ramsey seems as though we're so divinely in the same vein that this word that I put on this paper is what Hart Ramsey posted about 3 hours ago. Something along this sort. This is what Hart Ramsey say. Dr. Hart Ramsey. Put some respect on his name, Reggie. He said, a major part of your love walk is communicating your needs to others. It is unfair and unloving of you to walk around angry with others because they didn't meet the needs that you didn't communicate. Come on here. I'm going to read that again because that is too good for me to read it one time. Hart Ramsey, Dr. Hart Ramsey said, a major part of your love walk is communicating your needs to others. It is unfair and unloving of you to walk around angry with others because they didn't meet the needs that you didn't communicate. We expect people to read our mind. Now, Pastor Mike Jr., I give him his props, but right here, he was off. Now, that's just a 1.5-minute clip. I did not listen to the entire sermon. So maybe I misunderstood what he was saying. But that's not good to be telling people that we should wait on other folks to read our mind because we need help. Open your mouth. And you have to open your mouth to the Lord as well. How many times have Jesus ran up on people and asked them, did they want to be healed? Open your mouth. Confess to the Lord what you want him to do for you. This is not a great quality. I know it's popular, but it's not Bible. God has never told us to do no crap like that. God has never told us to sit back and expect somebody else to read your mind because you're not vulnerable enough to ask for help. I've been guilty of it myself. I don't say don't worry about it, I'll do it myself, but I will try to be so too independent to where I overexert myself because I don't want to ask for no help. Fear of rejection. Address it. Don't brag about it. However, God didn't tell us to do no stuff like that, but fear told us to do it. Shame, control, and disappointment. Those are 4 things that keeps us in that type of mentality, and that's why we can't get to the next level. Fear, shame, control, and disappointment. This is how the control and disappointment feed each other. They feed off of each other. When you have that don't worry about it, I'll do it myself type of mentality, you may tell someone to do something for you today, but it's really not needed to be done until next week. But because you have unrealistic expectations on individuals and you expect them to do it when you want them to do it, you really disappoint yourself, because now you want them to do it when you want them to do it. And because they didn't do it when you wanted them to do it, you disappointed in yourself because of your unrealistic expectations. If I give y'all assignment to turn into me next Thursday, I say, hey, do this for me. Listen to this by next Thursday. And then I'm hitting you up Sunday asking you about it. I shouldn't get no attitude because you still got 4 days to do it. I'm disappointing myself because I'm placing unrealistic expectations on y'all that I didn't even really verbalize myself. You disappoint yourself. Now it's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. You're a micromanager and asking for a promotion at work. Well, you got to worry about what everybody doing. Hey, you need to do this. Don't y'all do this. You can't do like this. You need to speak. Sit down. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Why do we act like this? Why do we have control issues? Why we say stuff like, don't worry about it, I'll just do it myself? And we take this same energy into the presence of God, and this is how we approach God. Why we do this? Because I'm going to tell you, we don't trust God. Yeah, we don't trust God. We try to fix so many situations and problems in our life without consulting with the Lord. And the Lord has to often check me about situations that I try to fix myself without consulting with him. Do you know how offensive it is when you lean on your own understanding? Do you know how offensive it is to God when you lean on your own understanding? When he has given his life, shed his blood, died for you, left you the gift of the Holy Spirit, but you don't use it to do nothing but shout, scream, cry, and fall out. When you're supposed to be consulting with the Holy Spirit to guide you through life. He died for your sins. You don't use Jesus at all but to ask for stuff for a genie in the bottle. And when you don't use God or depend on him instead of depending on your own understanding, this is how he interprets it as, I don't need you, God. He's a man, right? He's 100% man, 100% God. How does it feel? How does it feel as a man? I'm going to speak for the men. How does it feel to be with a woman to say, I don't really need you? Yeah, I don't need no man. Yeah, I like you, but I'm going to let you know I don't really need you. How does that make you feel as a man? It makes you feel less than. It makes you feel replaceable. It makes you feel unworthy. And God is a man, right? But we run up in the presence of God and pretty much tell him, I don't need you. What I need to pray for? What I need to fast for? Why? I don't need you. I'm going to prove to you that I don't need you. Watch I fix this. Watch I make this. Watch I be my own boss. Watch I be my own God. Watch me worship myself. It makes you feel less than. It makes you feel worthy. So I already know how God feels. I don't need you. I don't trust you, God. You may not say it verbally, but you're saying it with your actions. And we only think that we operate like this in our earthly relationships. But we do the same thing to God. Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself, God. If you don't send me a husband, I'll go out here and find my own. I'm going to date them all. If you don't send me a wife, I'll go find me a wife and date them all until I find the right one. You know what, God, I'll work for my salvation. I know you gave it to me as a gift, but I'm going to prove to you that I can fast 365 days. I can dress in a bow tie and a button down in a nice suit and church shoes. I can tell you that I can put on these big hats. I tell you that I honor the Sabbath and I take communion and I go to church every Sunday and I do this and I'm working for my salvation. And I'm going to make sure that I speak in tongues and I'm going to make sure that I say shalom like I'm all, man, gone. We be working for stuff when it's a gift. We telling God, I don't really need your blood, bro. I don't really need you like that. The other person, with whoever you in a relationship, feel undervalued when you have this don't worry about it, I'll do it myself, or I don't need you type of attitude, type of mental. I went on this trip one time, right? This young lady. And I may have told y'all this story before. She had already got a condo at Panama City. And so I had to work. And when I was just going to meet her down there with a couple other people. They went down before me. And so when I got there like a few days later because I had to work. So as I'm almost into Panama City, I called. I was like, hey, I'm almost to the condo. She was like, I'll just leave the beach and I'll meet you there. I said, okay, cool. So on the way to the condo, I passed by her walking. So I was like, get it. I was like, hop in the car. I'll just drive to the condo. You can just hop in the car with me. She was like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. I said, baby, get it in the car instead of me sitting at the condo waiting on you, watching you walk with this stuff. Why don't you just jump in the car and we can just drive together to the condo? She was like, don't worry about it. I got it. Oh, no, I whooped it. Man, get in the car, bro. How many times I got to tell you to get in the car when you making it seem like I'm harassing you, when all you got to do is just get in the car? Why are you trying to be so independent? Well, I don't want to get sand in your car. Get in the car. I'm trying to help you. But you so independent to where you won't even allow a man to help you. Make it make sense. Trying to be a Boaz, trying to be a gentleman, but because you're still operating from a place of survival, you can't even let nobody help you, including God. Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. So later on during the trip, we on the beach. She got 4 or 5 Stanley cups, a cooler, a chair, another chair, and an umbrella. And I just got a little cup. I just got a little cup like this. So I was like, hey, let me get some of them bags of umbrellas. She was like, nah, I got it. I said, hey, let me get some of that stuff so it don't, you know what I'm saying? You carrying all that stuff and all I got is a cup. Let me carry this. No, I got it. Hey, look. Hey, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but this is the second time that this has happened where I'm trying to help you and you won't let me help. How it look? I'm a grown man with a cup and you got 4 Stanley cups, an umbrella, 2 chairs, and all this other stuff. I said, man, give me. I snatched it from her for real. We pray for people. It's that you don't see it as a big deal, but that's the small stuff. You have to practice with the small stuff. You don't even want to let a man hold the door open for you. You don't even want the man to help you with the groceries. You don't even want the man to do nothing for you. So he's sitting around trying to figure out how he can add value to you. And when he tries to add value and try to say that, baby, I love you, this type of deal, you reject it because you are used to, don't worry about it, I'll do it myself. Yeah, I see it happen all the time. Y'all brag about it. You got control issues. Control issues big time. You don't want nobody to help you, including God. And you think this is just romantically, but I guarantee you, if you look back throughout your life, including now, you trying to do a lot of this stuff by yourself without the help of God. And God sitting back feeling like, I'm feeling like, dang. She won't let me help her at all. You make the other person that you're in a relationship feel unworthy, undervalued. Because you want to make sure you let them know, I do not need you. That's how David acted. Yeah, that's exactly how David is acting in chapter 11, 2 Samuel. David is pretty much telling God, I don't need you. I'll fix this bad situation myself. David has slept with a married woman, got her pregnant, and he's trying to figure out how to fix it himself. He's not even talking to God right now. When the last time we heard David cry out to the Lord? We haven't. David right now is walking in shame. He's shamed that he has slipped up and got this married woman pregnant. And it makes me think about Adam in the Garden of Eden. When sin came on earth, God walking in the garden said, Adam, where art thou? Let's go talk about it real quick. We got time. Go to Genesis 3. Because some of us has allowed shame to distance us from God. Because you went through a divorce, or because you had an abortion, or because you slipped up and had sex and you've been celibate for 5 years, or you messed around and cursed somebody out, or you messed up and made a bad decision, and now because of your shame, you have allowed that shame to distance you and God's relationship, just like David. Genesis 3 verse 6. This is after sin has come on earth. Genesis 3:6 says the woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious, and she wanted the wisdom it would give her, so she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it too. At that moment their eyes were opened, and they suddenly felt shame at their nakedness. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. When the cool evening breezes were blowing, the man and his wife heard the Lord God walking about in the garden. So they hid from the Lord God among the trees. Then the Lord God called to the man, where are you? Do you see when sin came, Adam slipped up, Eve slipped up. You see how they tried to cover themselves with their human effort? Them jokers put some fig leaves together. How many of us are out here putting fig leaves together to cover up your shame? That is exactly what David is doing. He's trying to fix his situation with human effort. It ain't gonna work. So because they had sinned, now the word says they hid. They hid from the Lord. That's how we do. We slip up, we go hide. We slip up, we stop logging in. We slip up, we stop going to church and everything because you have allowed your shame to force you farther from God. Adam, where art thou? David, where are you? Bro, I see the fact you done slept with a married woman. Why you trying to hide from me like I can't see you? And I can totally put myself in David's shoes. David probably can't sleep. I can't sleep, baby. I can't eat, babe. Yo, David can't eat. Lips ashy. Anxiety, depressed. He messed up big time, boy. I already know how he feeling. My boy in a bad situation. So he up all night trying to figure out, man, how I'm going to fix this situation, man. You can't sleep at night because you up like David trying to, man, how I'm going to pay this bill, man. Man, how I'm going to make sure I'm married before 40. How I'm going to get my son out these streets? How I'm going to make sure that my husband gets saved? All of these situations that you're trying to place yourself in, that you're trying to fix yourself, God's sitting back the whole time watching you. Waiting on you to turn to him. He's sitting back watching you right now. Go ahead, Miss Independent. Mr. Macho Man. My lips always be ashy. Go ahead, Miss Independent. Miss Macho Man, go ahead. I'm going to let you waste as much time as you want to. Because remember, don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. David said, don't worry about it, God. I'm going to fix this myself. Let's talk about it. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 12. Got this married woman pregnant. Now he trying to manipulate a situation to where her husband will come in from the war and sleep with her. So if he sleep with her, if Uriah sleep with Bathsheba, then David in the clear. You know what I'm saying? The baby may not come out looking like him, but you know what I'm talking about. So David said, Uriah, come on in from the war, man. Go home and sleep with your wife, my boy. Make her do that thing that she be doing. So verse 12 and 13 says, well, stay here today, David told Uriah, and tomorrow you may return to the army. So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day and the next. Then David invited him to dinner and got him drunk. But even then, he couldn't get Uriah to go home to his wife. Again, he slept at the palace entrance with his king's palace guard. I know I read this last time. I know I did, but I got a different revelation. That's why when I tell y'all to read something more than one time, I already read it. Read it again. David invited Uriah to dinner. Y'all didn't see it. Y'all didn't see it because y'all like reading fast. David invited Uriah to dinner and drinks. Got him drunk real bad. Verse 13 says, then David invited him to dinner and got him drunk. Why? Why did David invite him to dinner and get him drunk? To get him to do exactly what he wanted him to do. He invited him. I'm going to keep saying it so I drill it in your head. He invited him to dinner and got him drunk to get him to do exactly what he wanted him to do. Ain't this how we date? This is the dating. This is how they taught us to date. Take her out to dinner and drink. So you can get her to do whatever you want her to do. Man, y'all y'all don't be thinking, bro. You got to start thinking you finna be through. Because you're going out for drinks. Some of them, y'all don't even make the dude buy your dinner. You just go out for drinks. Whenever I mentor somebody, and she was like, I met this dude at work. Oh, he's so fine. Everything he said, he go to church. He invited me out to drinks the other night. I said, no, red flag. Shouldn't no man of God be inviting you out for drinks? And you ain't even wise enough to know that you are not going to be yourself if you're drinking, pal. What are we doing, guys? But because everybody doing it, and we don't read our Bible, we've been walking in manipulation for how long? So yeah, I know. I'll take you out to dinner. I don't mind. I like going out. Hibachi. Yeah. Give me steak, medium well, chicken, vegetables, and I don't want no salad. No, I don't like that little sauce y'all put on the salad. Give me that rice. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah. If I give her some drinks and make her laugh, it's over with. But that's what y'all do. Look at James. James, I already know. It's over with. It's manipulation. If I can feed you, get your belly full, then get you drunk, I can get you to do exactly what I want you to do. No, I can't. No, you can't. Okay, okay. That's how you end up getting. That's how you end up getting tricked because you're overly confident. It's right here in the Bible. David took Uriah on a date. Some of y'all going on a date tonight. It's Friday. Finna get. Nah, I pray that the Lord block it. You getting dressed now, putting your little makeup on, listening to me. Nah, sit your butt down. Ain't nobody finna go out for no drinks. Drinking ain't no sin. Then nobody said it was no sin. I said you need to stop being around manipulative type of behavior because you're getting took down through there because you keep doing the same stuff where God didn't instruct us to do none of this. But because we don't worry about it, do it myself, head looking self, won't sit down. David wanted to get Uriah to do whatever he wanted him to do. And I'm going to move on, but I'm going to tell you this. Ladies, the worst thing you can do on the first date is to drink. That's the worst thing you can do. Coming from a dude who know. The worst thing you can do is drink. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You ain't got to listen. You don't have to receive it. But I'm telling you, the worst thing you could do is drink. Easy bait. Easy bait. Now, Uriah, because he is such a devoted man of God, the alcohol didn't really affect him. He still walked the straight and narrow. He still was loyal. How was Uriah able to not give in to this manipulative behavior of David? He's a devout believer. Uriah is. He's a foreigner. The word says he's a Hittite. He's not even a Hebrew. He's close to David. You remember? In order for you to stay close to the palace, you got to be close to David because that's how he ended up seeing Bathsheba. David was on his roof and he looked down and saw Bathsheba bathing on top of her house, which means Uriah stayed close to David. So that means they were close. And his name means, Uriah names mean my light is Yahweh. Shout out Rochelle. Rochelle put that on. She put me on that right there. She said, you know, Uriah names mean my light is Yahweh or flame of God. This man has changed his name for the Lord. Not only has he changed his name, he has left his beliefs, his opinion, his family, and everything to fight and live for the Lord. He's a Hittite. He's not a Hebrew. This man is devout. He's left his own understanding, his beliefs, his family, familiarity, his opinion, all of that, just to follow the God that we serve. So he just ain't no average dude. He just ain't no average believer. He's just not a believer who go to church on Sunday. This dude has lost a lot. He walked away from some things, including his name. He changed his name to Uriah. Are you willing to let the Lord change your name? What are you willing to walk away from? I told you, I see Jesus in Uriah. He's a devout man. David tried to get this man drunk. He said, no, I can't do this, man. Verse 14 through 17. So the next morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and gave it to Uriah to deliver. The letter instructed Joab, station Uriah on the front lines where the battle is fiercest. Then pull back so that he will be unalive. So Joab assigned Uriah to a spot close to the city wall where he knew the enemy's strongest men were fighting. And when the enemy soldiers came out to the city to fight, Uriah the Hittite was unalived along with several other soldiers. David got this dude messed up, man. Let's not get distracted over no name. David has got this dude unalive, bro. But this is what stuck out to me. Verse 14. Dang, David. Slipping on your pen. So the next morning, David wrote a letter to Joab. Hold up, bro. Y'all didn't see it. David, the last time we heard about you writing anything, you was writing psalms to the Lord. When the last time have you written a psalm to the Lord? You done forgot about God. Yeah, you've gotten so far from the Lord that your gift has become perverted. You see it? I know you didn't. You read too fast. David's gift has become perverted. All them songs that he wrote. He wrote a lot of songs. He writing in the cave, writing to the Lord, running from Saul, writing to the Lord. Now he has gotten so far from the Lord, he writing letters full of death. Is it possible you can get so far from the Lord that your gift that he gave to you has become perverted? You ain't even singing for the Lord no more. You out here writing rap songs. You supposed to be an administrator over here in the church, and you out here scamming people. You supposed to be using your gift of beauty to draw men and women and people to the Lord, but you out here with the OnlyFans with your cheeks out and your abs and six-pack out. You have allowed the enemy to pervert a gift that the Lord has given to you. You're not using it for the edification of the kingdom. You're using it for the edification of self. David, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to David. David writing letters that have been perverted when he was writing letters to the Lord. Words, songs to the Lord. That's what happened. Your gift has been perverted. God ain't gonna take it away. I know they told you if you don't use it, the Lord will take it away. No, it ain't no gift. If you take it away, he gonna give it to you. He ain't gonna take it away. It's just gonna become perverted. No longer using your writing skills to produce life and light. Now this letter that you have written is producing death and darkness to Uriah. But as I stated earlier, I see Jesus all in Uriah. Look at his heart. Look at his devotion. He carrying the letter. That's his death sentence. He didn't even open it. That's how loyal he is. My boy bold. He courageous, obedient. But this is the part that I see a lot of Jesus in Uriah. He's carrying the letter. He's carrying the word. That's going to be his death sentence. Not only that, it says right here in verse 15, station Uriah on the front lines where the battle is fiercest, then pull back. Y'all didn't see it. David said, send him up there where the battle is the fiercest and then pull back. It's like they set him up. They said, hey, Uriah, go over there. And then when he went over there, they said, oh, back up. So the men that you're fighting with, the king that you're fighting with, set you up so you could die? Y'all didn't see it. Jesus' own people set him up. Yeah. Judas pulled back. God's chosen people, they pulled all the way back. They pulled back on them. It ain't the sinners that sent Jesus to the cross. It's not even the Romans. It was God's chosen people who sent him to the cross. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, the religious leaders, the high priest, the church folks who sent him to the cross. Read it. The Romans were used to send him to the cross, but they weren't the ones who actually wanted him to go to the cross. The king said, no, Jesus ain't did nothing guilty. Why y'all want me to crucify this dude? Potiphar said, why y'all want me to crucify this dude? He ain't even did nothing. Herod said he ain't even did nothing. But God's chosen people said, no, let's send him to the cross. That's just like Uriah. His own people set him up. Jesus' own people set him up. And it's not even his people that unalived him. They used the enemy to unalive him. David used the enemy to unalive him. The Pharisees used the Romans to unalive him. The Romans didn't have, they was just being manipulated by the Pharisees, God's chosen people. Y'all didn't know that. Y'all didn't know it. They didn't teach all that on Easter Sunday. I see Jesus in Uriah, man. My light is Yahweh. I got 14 minutes. Uriah has been unalived, man. I feel so bad for him. Feel bad for him. Verse 18 through 21. Then Joab sent a battle report to David. He told his messenger, report all the news of the battle to the king. But he might get angry and ask, why did the troops go so close to the city? Didn't they know there would be shooting from the walls? Wasn't Abimelech, son of Gideon, unalived at Thebez by a woman who threw a millstone down on him from the wall? Why would you get so close to the wall? Then tell him Uriah the Hittite was unalived too. Joab is very detailed in this description, which makes me think he is fully aware what David is up to. Remember, Joab is the commander of the army. Joab is also David's nephew. Look at all these details that he's given, but I want to tell Joab something. Bro, your hand's bloody too. You knew. Because look at all the details he's saying. He said, hey, David, go see this, say this, and then he go say this. But then after he say that, I need for you to say that. He know all too many details. He done thought this thing out just like David. Joab knew. But this is the thing about Joab. Joab, my boy, your loyalty is to David instead of God. And that, ma'am, that, sir, is what makes you guilty. See, Uriah's loyalty was to God, not David. Uriah was like, nah, bro, I can't go sleep with my wife. Nah, I know you want me to do that, but the Lord didn't tell me to do that. That's Uriah. But we see in the very next verses that Joab's loyalty was to David and not to God. Uriah said no to David. Joab said yes. We need a circle of friends. Y'all didn't see it. We need a circle of friends who give us truth, even if it hurt our feelings. See, Joab don't want to hurt David's feelings, because he very well could have stopped this, because he knew. But because his loyalty is to David instead of God, his hands just as dirty. Are you bold enough to say, David, nah, bro, you tripping, bro. You can't do this, man. I know you got Bathsheba pregnant, but bro, you can't do this, man. I know you go get pissed off. I'm okay with it. I know you may leave me. I'm okay with it. I know that you may fire me, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Are you okay with giving people the truth? Are you willing to suffer the consequences? This is a life or death situation, bro. And I want to ask y'all, are you a Uriah or Joab? Does your circle consist of Uriahs or Joabs? You jump in my inbox, you probably go get Uriah. No cap. I ain't finna tell you what you want to hear. No, sorry, Bob. I don't want that blood on my hands. So If the Lord tell me to tell you something, I would advise you, don't jump in my inbox because you go get Uriah all day. You go not like me. You want mentorship? You ain't gonna like me all the time. Nope. You can't be corrected or instructed? Oh, no. You ain't want mentorship because you get Uriah. I gotta tell you what the Spirit of the Lord says. I can't lie to you. You've been lied to long enough. I gotta tell you the truth. My loyalty is to the Lord. Which one are you? Uriah or Joab? You want a circle full of friends who go tell you what you want to hear? Nah. If I know you headed down this road of destruction, I would not be very loving if I don't say nothing to you. And some of us, our circle is full of Joabs. That's why we can't grow. Some of us are so loyal to our friends where you know she or he is wrong, and you'll sit up there, fire emoji, that's right, girl, tell them my boy, all in the comment section, and you know that they're wrong. But you go let them head down their road of destruction and then be hitting folks up asking for a prayer request. No, God sent you the word, and because you was afraid, you didn't say nothing. Instead of you supporting them, you should have been praying. But we scary. Yeah, we real scary. We don't want to hurt I don't want to hurt their feelings. We grew up together. I can't tell her that. Man, I don't care nothing about none of that, bro. I'm okay with you leaving me. I'm okay with you getting pissed off, yo, for real. Now, I'm not going to jump in your inbox trying to give my opinion. But if you jump in mine, free reign, green light, I'm going to let loose all the way. So before you jump in my inbox, just know I'm coming with the smoke. I'm telling you. I'm warning you. Reggie, I need mentorship. Okay. Because sometimes the truth be having you crying, and because you crying, you think that I'm trying to be too direct. No, I'm just telling you the truth. That's my responsibility. That's Uriah's responsibility, to hurt David's feelings. But we want to feel good. Got to hurry up. Got 7 minutes. Let's go, Holy Spirit. Verses 22 through 24. So the messenger went to Jerusalem and gave a complete report to David. The enemy came out against us in the open fields. And as we chased them back to the city gate, the archers on the wall shot arrows at us. Some of the king's men were unalive, including Uriah the Hittite. So right now, I'm pretty sure David feeling real good. Kind of bittersweet. He kind of like, yes, the problem solved. Mission accomplished. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Yes. This don't worry about it, I'll do it myself has worked. Yes. I knew what I was doing. I knew I had the right mental about doing it myself. Yo, you think it's fixed. David think this situation is fixed due to his human wisdom, his human efforts, the fig leaves. He thinking the fig leaves working. Nah, it looked like it's working today. Nah, it ain't gonna work. Because this stuff that you're hiding today go catch up with you in the long run. This data mall type of mentality, it may seem as though it's working today, but by the time you get 45 and 50 and you by yourself, see, at 22 and 23, you thought it was okay. Now you're 45 and 50 and now you're seeing the fruits of your disobedience. But when you was 22, 23, you thought it was working. Yo, Reggie, you thought chasing them women and drinking all that alcohol and buying all this and taking all them trips, oh, that ain't, I'm just having fun. Okay, wait till you get older and you find out that you wasted your youthful years outside. And now you're trying to rush God because you pissed away your youthful years. So when somebody came and told you to slow down, you thought that that mentality was working. You didn't realize that down the road, that bad behavior was going to start to produce fruit. And the fruit is rotten. Some of us are walking in rotten fruit from seeds that were planted when we had this mental of doing life without God. Them songs that we were singing in the club, Independent. Do you know what that means? We just singing it. Seeds. Now look at the fruit. Now you miss Independent. Yeah, by yourself, and you 50. Because you planted them seeds. And your kids the same way. Kids jacked up because of the seeds we planted. We're jacked up because of the seeds that our parents planted. Because we thought that we were doing it right because it felt good at the moment, not realizing that their fruit was going to come to fruition. 4 minutes. David feeling good. David feeling good because he think his plan has worked. Verse 25. Well, tell Joab not to be discouraged. The sword devours this one today and that one tomorrow. Fight harder next time and conquer the city. So once David found out that Uriah had actually died, he ain't even bothered. He's not even bothered. You remember in Deuteronomy 17:17 that the word says kings don't take many wives because they would turn your heart against God, away from God. I see that on David. David got a cold heart, bro. You just find out that one of your best warriors and one of your friends just got unalived, and this is how you respond? Well, tell Joab not to be discouraged. The sword. Y'all ever watch Paid in Full? It's a classic. He said, ninjas die every day, B. He wasn't bothered. Yo, Mitch said, ninjas die every day, B. That's just how David was. David's like, hey, that's what happened at war, bro. We can't do nothing about it. Yeah, he died, so what? Warriors die every day, B. That's how David responded, like not even bothered. He got a cold heart, no compassion, no empathy, nothing. And all this started from lust. We have seen throughout this chapter that this lust has progressively gotten worse and worse. And could it be that lust hardens our heart? Like the more women you sleep with, the harder your heart becomes. The more men you date, the harder your heart becomes. Your heart has become calloused because you're exposing it to too many different people. Your heart has become calloused. Calluses. When you work out, you get calluses right there from the friction of the bar. It's hard. Calluses. Some of y'all got calluses on the back of your heel. Yo, you little rough foot. Your shoes too low. Yo, your heels callous. You need to go get a pedicure. I do. My heels callous. Yo, calloused. Some of our hearts are calloused. Verse 26 through 27. David not even bothered. When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. When the period of mourning was over, David sent for her and brought her to the palace, and she became one of his wives. Then she gave birth to a son, but the Lord was displeased with what David had done. Now, I've had nothing. Monique said, you something else, bro. Monique, I gotta make it come alive for you. Some of us don't know what callus means, so it's them little things that's on your hand, or some of us don't work out, so it's a thing on the back of your heel. That hard spot, you got to file off. I hadn't had a lot to say, positive to say about David in this whole chapter. Because he been foul. Real bad. But the one positive thing that I could take away from this entire chapter, at least David looked out for Bathsheba. Her life would have been straight trash if she would have been out here a widow and a single mother. Real bad. She would have been tossed away. So at least he looked out for her. Kind of like with Ruth and Boaz. Boaz took Ruth in because Ruth would have been out here bad, being a widow. Ruth was her family redeemer, and he took her as a wife because he was obligated to according to the law. He took her in because he was obligated to do that. We don't want to go too deep into that, but I'm just saying Boaz looked out for Ruth just like David looked out for Bathsheba. But I'm not gonna give him too much props. Yeah, I'm gonna repost this on my YouTube. David, I give him a pat on the back a little bit because at least he looked out for Bathsheba, and I got a soft spot for women. But David, it's easy to be nice to a woman that you're sleeping with. It's easy to be nice to the mother of your child, of your son. Because the word says she had a son, but the Lord was displeased. But you don't get a pat on the back of how you treating everybody else, bro. You don't get pat on the back for stuff that you're supposed to do. Somebody you sleeping with, of course you can be nice to them. But what about Uriah? What about Joab? What about your other wives and your other kids? And what about everybody else that was mishandled in this situation? I'm sure Bathsheba got a mama. I'm sure Bathsheba got sisters and brothers. And I'm sure Uriah is somebody's son. Uriah is somebody's brother. I'm sure Uriah is somebody's uncle. Like, you took all that away, bro. Your heart has become cold. And all this started with 2 minutes of pleasure. Two, yo. David probably shot real quick. That's how she got pregnant. He ain't had time to pull out. David said, ooh, yeah. All it started with 2 minutes. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about? David shot real quick. But we see David's lust has progressively gotten worse. And I'm telling us, if we don't check our lust, it's going to progressively get worse. Now, you may not be out here unaliving somebody with a knife or with a gun, but you could be unaliving somebody with your mouth. You always got your mouth on somebody. You're always reposting and following folks who talking about T.D. Jakes, who talking about Michael Todd, who talking about Lil Nas X, who talking about Jay-Z, who talking about Beyonce, who talking about this person, who talking about that. Murder. That's, yeah, that you unaliving people with your mouth. You unaliving people sitting up on the phone gossiping with your mom and your sister and your girlfriends. That's unaliving people. You know what I'm talking about? We got to watch this stuff. You unaliving people with your lips. And not only are you doing that, you're slowly distancing yourself from God. Look how far David has gotten from God. He all the way out there. This is a man who sought after God's own heart, writing psalms to the Lord, consulting with the Lord, living for the Lord, doing all these good deeds for the Lord. He's chosen by God to be king of God's chosen people. And look at him now. He's so far from God, he looked worse than the unbelievers. And after all he's gone through, he has yet to turn to God. He ain't mentioned God not one time. But guess what? In the next chapter, God finna pull up on them real bad and say, stop playing with me. Y'all remember that? When we get so far out there, if you're a son or a daughter, God will pull up on you and say, hey, stop playing with me. Yeah, next chapter, God pull up on them and say, stop playing with me. So let's not allow ourselves to get as distant from God and allow our lust to become unchecked. And it starts with this small stuff. These things that we have glorified for years upon years. We have seen our parents. We have seen people on social media. We have seen people that we look up to operate in these toxic behaviors. Don't worry about I'll do it myself. It's nothing that you need to be mimicking with nobody. Not your parents, not your kids, not your husband, not your wife. You trying to fix it yourself? When the Bible don't instruct you to fix it yourself, I don't care if you've been doing it all your life. That changes today. You got to change it. The reason you got to change it because if you operate like that, you die, you go to heaven. But the objective is to experience heaven on earth for all of your people, everybody that's connected to you. Why you want to wait to get to heaven to experience heaven? Don't you want heaven on earth? And if you do, it's a level of vulnerability and dependence on God that you have to walk in order for God to say, you know what? I'm about to look out for you. I'm about to be Jireh. I'm about to be your peace. I'm about to be your provider. I'm about to be your everything. I'm about to be your understanding. I'm about to do miracle signs and wonders in your life that you read about in the Bible. But because we are self-worshipers, we're gods. We only depend on self. God said, okay, cool. If you want to depend on your own understanding, cool. You can just wait to get to heaven to experience heaven. I don't have a problem with that. But for the people, the Peters, the Pauls, the Reggies, the people who really are sons and daughters, nah, we ain't waiting to experience heaven on earth. Not on my watch. We aren't. And my objective is to address some of these things that we have normalized within the kingdom that's keeping heaven shut up and is really distancing us from God. Don't worry about it, I'll do it myself. Bad situation, part 3. I think this is the last one on these bad situations. We're going to dive into chapter 12 next time and see what God got to say. God pulling up on David says, stop playing with me.
Reggie is saying that I can only connect using audio. They act like I got a flip phone or something. What's going on?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
How many followers you got?
I don't know. I'm not on TikTok like that, so.
It's all good. But I'm glad you came on to holler at your boy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What's up?
But look, though. Let's talk about. Man, I wasn't even planning on being on long tonight.
I'm sorry, y'all. 8:30.
Tell people what the mentorship looked like as far as how it initially started off up until the pandemic. Because I think the pandemic was like a game changer for you and I both.
Okay. So it's kind of a long story, but I'm gonna try to make it as short as
Yo,
possible.
don't make it long.
Don't tell me. Anyway, so I met Reggie. It's so weird, y'all. I met Reggie on Facebook. Like, don't even know how he was my friend or anything, but I was struggling with my life, like as far as in um figuring out who I am as a person, what I want to do in life. And I was just depressed and basically strung out on life, if that makes sense. And so I watched the church online and not even realizing that Reggie was actually a member at that same exact church that I was watching. And so me and him I end up messaging him on Facebook and was like, hey, I see that you're a part of this church. We just started talking about church. And so one day, I was because I live in Montgomery, Alabama right now. So one day I was driving to Huntsville for work, and so on my way back down, I have to stop through Birmingham, and to get to the church and stuff. It's in Alabaster, and so I said, you know what? Let me just stop to see, what the church is, to get a good feel for it. Went to the church the same day. Y'all, Reggie, he is so cutthroat, but I'm gonna be nice. Went to the church, and I've been watching that church for a long time. I'm like, oh, this church is in Alabama. I gotta check it out. Went to the church the same day I joined the church because I had been watching for a long time. So the day I joined the church, Reggie was like, man, what you doing? What you doing? Why you do that? And I'm like, you would have thought I joined the cult. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. What? Uh-oh. Did I do something wrong? Reggie's like, no, man, no, you did it wrong. So at that point, I'm just like, uh-oh, well, I just, I got to figure it out from here. So was going to the church, faithfully driving an hour and some change every Sunday to the church. Didn't even care about the distance. I just, want to get the word and get closer to God. And I felt like at the time that the church was my saving grace. That wasn't the case. I got the word, but it was more so, I'm trying to be nice. The people in the church kind of strayed me away from getting the actual reason why I was there. I just felt disrespected on so many different levels. No one was friendly. I would stay after church on purpose just to, get a feel for the people in the church, then, introduce myself. And, I'm a part of the church at this point. So I want to get to know the members, get in these groups and try to do what I need to do. And again, that wasn't the case. So Reggie was only like the only person that stayed after church and talked to me. We would literally talk about stuff in front of the church for hours, literally like 3 to 4 hours, standing outside the church after Sunday. And I'm just like, dang, I never thought I would get this outside of standing outside of a church. I didn't even get inside the church. I got a bunch of hooping and hollering and stuff that I didn't even need to hear. But that kind of caused controversy within us being, getting to know, getting to know God. It was, come back to church and me and Reggie were sleeping together, or, side eyes and just a bunch of mess. So I still knew my reason for going to church. I didn't care about what the people said. I still attempted to, try to get closer to God. So Reggie I stopped seeing him. So I'm like, dang, like, where he go? Like, I can't even talk to nobody after church. Because when I tell you, soon as church let out, you would think kids would be getting out of school for spring break or the last day of school. That's how fast those people would run out of church. And it was just like, dang, I don't get anything. So fast forward, COVID happened. I was just like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? I don't have the church anymore, because I started getting some word, but most of my word came from Reggie. So I was just like, dang, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I don't got Reggie's number. This is all what I'm saying to my mind. I don't have his number. I don't have the church. I'm just a lost soul. I'm sitting at home, stressed out, depressed. Thank God I wasn't suicidal, because that would have been the end of it. And I just started writing Reggie on Facebook. But to rewind it back real quick, I was sat outside of church one Sunday. It was probably like the last time I saw Reggie at church. And I was broken, y'all. Like, broken to the point where I felt like no more. Like, not, again, suicidal, but I just didn't know which way to go with life and just anything, job-wise, anything. And I broke down crying. So Reggie just looking at me like, dang, she really going through it. And Reggie was like, well, why you don't talk to nobody? So that goes back to my text, what I just wrote. It took me 2 years to get your freaking number. I'm like, I'm trying to. I asked you for your number and you never gave it to me. And you seem like you're the only person that I can talk to. Reggie looked at me in my face. He said, dang, Put my number in your phone.
Bro, you
Put
gotta
my
be
number in your
careful out here, mobile.
And so I was just like, I had to break down in tears. I'm glad. Look, in my mind, I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't lusting on him. He seen my makeup running all down my face. I just looked like a mess at the time. And so I'm just like, dang. I had to break down in tears in front of this man, and he just, felt sorry for me. He was like, I kind of, I guess he saw it in me that I really want to, get the word. And so COVID happened, everything was shut down, and I remember vividly calling Reggie. I was like, man, I miss the church. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't. So Reggie was like, the church? What you mean the church? Like, um, you get a better feel for God. You could go in your room, and he basically told me everything, and I was just like, I don't feel nothing. God. And he was, I'm excited. I'm like, Reggie, tell me more. What do I need to do? Everything that Reggie told me to do, even when it didn't make sense. I'm like, man, this man sound like a fool, and I was like, man, get on my knees, do this, do that. Cry. I can't make myself cry, but God made me cry. God broke me down like I was a piece of nothing. And that's when I knew. I called Reggie the first time it happened. I'm like, oh my goodness, let me tell you what happened. And I was like, man, whew, that was brutal. But if it was just that bad like you said it was, I could go through it. So here I am telling Reggie, oh, I need the prophetic word. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Y'all, when I tell you that jump
Hold
beat,
on, rewind a little part.
what's up?
So what was it that you're asking me for? What was it that you was asking that you
I
were
was
saying that you
seeking, I
wanted?
was seeking the church because I thought that the church was the only way that I could get closer to God because I didn't know. I was at like entry level with God. Like I didn't know
Okay.
anything. I
But you were saying like I remember you were saying so you know that the church that we went to was a prophetic church.
yes. And
So
so
it was kind of like AP flowed in that gift. And so Juanita was telling me, she was like, man, I want a prophetic word. Like
no,
that
because
part.
Reggie, you would come to me all the time bragging about, man, Demetrius, she told me this. I'm like, dang, she telling you all this. What she gonna tell me? I can't wait for her to tell me. Give me a sign. Lord, give me a sign. So I'm like, just give me something. I want some of that too. Reggie was like, it ain't what you think. So I'm like, man, it can't be that bad. All I did was cry. This is what I'm thinking, y'all. And so whew, life happened for me. Like God put man, when I tell y'all don't think it's easy. Like Reggie tell y'all almost every night, this is not easy. God stripped me from everything. When I tell y'all everything that I could possibly think I like, friends, sorority sisters, um, death in my family. My sister was murdered by her boyfriend. Like my mom's going through it right now. It's just so much stuff. It's so much stuff, and a lot of stuff is basically God showing me like this is what it really is. Like you see all the glitter and gold and unicorn, but this is what it really is. You asked me for it. I'm not telling you how I'm gonna give it to you, but this is how I'm gonna give it to you. But you have to accept it, and I have to accept it. And a lot of times I ask God to, give me some kind of peace of mind. And when I ask Him, because even with Reggie will tell y'all, even with my sister's death, I don't even know. I cried. I cried. Reggie was the first person I called. I cried like I couldn't cry anymore. And Reggie prayed for me, and I prayed that night. And I asked God to just give me peace. Again, I live in Alabama, so I flew to New York, and He gave me everything I needed. It was just like I put my whole family on my back, did the funeral, did everything, and to sum it all up, y'all, like Reggie said, you just gotta be willing. You gotta be willing. You can't have no other mindset of thinking that it's gonna be one thing, trying to lust on him. I'm telling y'all that y'all just gonna be wasting y'all time. If y'all don't have the right intentions for Reggie, don't like it's yeah. It's a waste
So
of time.
so look, Juanita.
Yeah.
Um I mention you often. I don't always mention your name, but our stories are somewhat it seems like what God is doing with some of his people that he's calling. And we know that you've endured a lot. Talk about the
Not as much as you. So no, not as okay.
talk about the what you have the talk about the blessings of your life. We know you lost a lot for real, for real, for real. But what is the gain? What did you gain?
Like, what do you mean? As far as in what?
Talk about like what your life looked like now compared to where it was 3 years ago.
I'm not drowning anymore. Back then it just felt like I was drowning in a pit in a doggone, I don't know, in a bowl where you know how you can go to an aquarium and see the animals. It felt like I was drowning and people were just watching me drown, and I didn't have anyone to grab me and say, "Hey, it's gonna be okay," or let me at least try to get you to where you are. And like I say, I always give Reggie his props, even when he don't want them, because I feel like he was definitely my saving grace because I was at a point of no return. I didn't have no direction in my life. I didn't have anything, y'all. And so like now I can see more clear. I have full understanding like of my life. I have so much control over my life. I'm a peaceful person now. I know y'all may hear Reggie say this a lot, but Reggie was definitely my cheat code because a lot of stuff that he went through with God, I didn't have to go through because he gave it to me. And so I felt like I was super willing. So at this point, it's just like if I'm asking him and he's guiding me in the right way, because there's been some stuff that Reggie has talked to me about, and I'm like, I don't know about that. And I'll pray to God, and God will like give me confirmation, like, yes, like in so many words, you're gonna be okay. Yes, this is correct. And so, after that, I stayed in contact with Reggie, and it's just been up ever since. I don't work anymore. I left my job. I pulled the Reggie.
No, talk, yo, I want you to talk about that part. That's what
Um,
I want you to talk about without me actually,
so
because I didn't know if you were comfortable enough
no, I
actually
don't care. I
verbalizing
mean,
it.
I'm good.
I
What?
want you to talk about that part in detail.
Okay, so last year sometime, what was this? October, November, something like that. I don't even know. It's just been so good. But I like for okay, so y'all, I'm gonna give you a quick rewind. I graduated with my master's in 2019. Straight out of grad school, I got a job as a suicide prevention program manager for the Army. Okay, so that was a learning experience working with soldiers and mental health and helping people save lives, and I'm a helping person. Paid well, everything was everything. And then I don't know, I one day I just was like, man, I can't do this no more. I'm always traveling with this job. I don't have no weekends to spend with my daughter. She's 13. I don't have. Basically, it's this job is taking over my life. So one day I called Reggie. I just left. Like I didn't even think twice. I laughed and I said, Reggie, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I said, yeah, I don't work anymore. Reggie was like, what? So I'm like, yeah, it's over with. And he was like, man, you lying. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I'm not lying. So basically, like the same thing Reggie did with his job, I did. And so like now I mentor kids throughout Alabama. As far as in like mental health, and I'll add my little spin in and include God, and have our little sermons and stuff amongst each other to talk to the youth. And I do it for free. I mean, people, they tend to give, but I always give back. Just like Reggie was saying, I give back in a big way, as far as in the high schools and stuff, as far as in if children don't have uniforms and stuff for their soccer team. That's my way of giving.
So Anita,
Yeah,
I don't want you to just like you reading real fast.
I talk fast, so
I know, but you reading fast.
come on.
Yo, but you walked away. You did what? You got to read that slow. That
Okay,
little
so
part.
I walked away from my job and
No, I know. I know. Look, no. I
what's up?
won't make the day you walked away come alive. Because the reason why I'm saying is because I see a trend in the kingdom where God is requiring His people to do this. And a lot of people don't recognize that it's the hand of God.
Okay,
But it's
so
happening to a lot of people. So when they see it, I want them to not think it's the enemy. They
no,
have to know that it's God and it's something that He's doing
they'll
within the
know
kingdom.
because they'll feel it. So my walk away, it was actually on a Monday, top of the week, huh? That Friday I think we did a 5K run with the military. It was suicide prevention week actually, and I sat at my desk at work, and I cried. I think everybody was out trying to prepare for the run, and I cried, and I was just like, God, I have this urge feeling that you're telling me something. Like, confirm what you're telling me. Please confirm, because I really, really need it right now. And I just slowly but surely, once that Keurig machine left my desk, I knew. I said, "Uh-oh, I'm leaving." So I started packing up, and I didn't even say anything to my job. So over the weekend, it kind of gave me time. Like, God, if this really you, slap it in my face, slap it in my face.
Right.
So Monday morning, went to work. I actually went to work late. I'm like, man, I'm gonna use the rest of this little PTO.
I need all mine, my boy.
I'm gonna burn the rest of it because I had just came off of a vacation, so I'm like, okay, I think I have about 4 hours left in my pocket, y'all, and so I was like, man, bump that, I'm gonna use it. So used it. Came to work, supervisor tripping. God was just like, what I just tell you, man. I got up. I said, y'all be blessed. Like, respectfully, I am done with this job, and everybody looking at me like, for real, you lying? I'm like, yeah. I didn't even have a game plan, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you how I knew it wasn't nobody but God for the simple fact. You know, a lot of times, like if you was to get fired or walk away from a job, you panic because you like, oh my God, how I'm gonna get my rent paid, my mortgage, how my kids gonna eat. I ain't think twice about that. I came home, went and got my daughter from school, took a shower. I was in the bed making bed angels, if that makes sense. I said, "Oh, this is how I feel to not have a job, and I ain't been working
So
ever."
look, I want you to explain to us the feeling, that feeling of like not having to.
Man, it's so peaceful, y'all. You can wake up, you can smell the air. You know, a lot of times when you wake up in the morning, you just rushing, rushing, rushing. Kids gotta go to no, no, no. I wake up every morning. I will go work out in the morning. Yeah, back then I couldn't do that. It was strictly work in school and back home, and no, no, no. Now it's work out, stay healthy, talk to God, read my Bible, in the bed. Yeah, I'll be in the bed majority of the. Oh, it feels so good. Money, I don't worry about money. God, like a lot of stuff that we complain about, I'm telling you, when I left, I had zero complaints. God was just like, girl, I told you you would be okay. That was what? October? I'm still in the bed making snow angels.
Man, that's scary though, like for real.
No, it's not, because when it's God, you know. That ain't scary. It's scary when
Man,
no, it's
you
not.
doing jumping. I cried.
I
You
didn't cry.
man.
I cried for joy because I
But
didn't have to
you
get up.
cried because you had a cheat code. I didn't
Yeah,
have no
that's why
cheat
I just
code.
told you. You was my cheat code, so I knew that I was good. I said, shoot, ain't nothing happened to Reggie. Shoot, I know I'm good.
Man, that's awesome though.
I
But
didn't.
yo,
But
go
what were you
ahead.
saying?
I was like, you been like Mo Juanita was someone I connected to way before I had even did anything close to TikTok. So she knew me way back when I was, man, I wasn't nowhere
Just Reggie on
near.
the block. You was Reggie on the block.
I'm still Reg on the block,
Nah,
but
you Reggie holla at your boy.
I don't know. I don't do a good job of really seeing how I am to people or how I've transformed. But I know back then, if you was talking to me way before the church, I know I've had major revelation and maturation since then. So,
He bougie me.
is Vic, huh?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
He it's you made me lose my thought.
Back
It's
in the day,
it's
Reggie.
always
Mhm.
it's always like I don't take it for granted that people who've been with me for a long time, like have I've consistently communicated with and had contact with, because people don't understand that ministry is bloody.
It is.
So it's gonna be a lot of people who come into your life that are only there for a season and then they disappear. And
Mhm.
you just can't sit in that rejection, that heartbreak for an extended amount of time. Like, you got to be able to recover. People are going to reject you. And if you don't ever overcome that fear of rejection, you're going to get stuck because you're worrying about your heart being broken because somebody left.
Right.
This is why I don't know why people be signing up for this stuff. You act like it's a lot of likes, shares, and comments, but you don't understand the level of heartbreak that comes with it.
Yep.
People be in your life one season, you interceding for them, you mentoring them, you're discipling them, and then they just disappear. And that's it. No explanation. They just disappear. So it's a level of spiritual toughness that you have to have, because people are going to be peopling. And if you aren't equipped for that, it'll crush you. So I don't know why people are so anxious to be doing this type of stuff, man. I don't think they've counted up the cost. But I say that to say Juanita been there since way back before, way before I left the church. She was still at the church even when I left. So
He
um
didn't give me a
I just
cheat
want,
code then, y'all. He just let me stay there, and I suffered even more. I said, "Ain't this something?"
but
I
I
didn't
tried to warn
understand,
you when
but
you
no,
went up
you
there and joined.
definitely did because you said, "I'm not gonna tell you to leave. I need you to see it for yourself." And once I saw it, Reggie was like, "Got it! Like, I'm glad you caught it." And so I was able to we was able to talk about it. But like I said, y'all
Right.
use this as a cheat code. Like I'm telling y'all, y'all do not want to go through the hell and hot water that we went through. Like y'all do not. It is so brutal. Like if you are weak, you will give up. You will be nothing. So take heed to everything that Reggie is saying because I'm telling you, I did, and I call Reggie my mentor. Like he the only person that I feel like I can talk to about anything without him judging me. Or it's like he says, been plenty of times where he didn't say stuff to me that I didn't want to hear, but respectfully, I had to listen because it only made me a better person. It made me fully understand why I was going through what I was going through at the time. So
Right. I appreciate you, Juanita. She got a very willing spirit. That's the one thing, when you have a spirit like Juanita, like I saw her willingness with her consistency and her vulnerability. And when I see those two things, that's why I was like, man, here, put my number in your
yeah, it
phone.
took for me to bust out in tears, y'all. Snot just rolling out my nose. I said, "Man, this man some bull crap." I'm like, "Reggie, I need help." Reggie was like, "Okay, I hear you." Reggie, I need help. Another Sunday. Well, I'm gonna give you the help in these little time I'm standing outside the church. And I'm like, "Reggie, I need help." I had the Tyrese face, y'all. Like, what more you want from me?
My discernment wasn't talking about nothing then, so I had to be careful. You get what
But
I'm saying?
look, the same way I give Reggie his props, like Reggie, me and Reggie talk about the weirdest stuff as far as in before Reggie started getting on live, Reggie have his little thing like, "Oh, I don't like this about," and I'm like, "Well, Reggie, I don't like this about me," and both of us looking stupid, like, "Well, we don't like this.
Right.
We ain't gonna be able to preach the word. We ain't gonna be able to spread the word to nobody. We don't like." But that wasn't nothing but. I ain't even gonna give the devil that much props. That wasn't nothing but something trying to turn us somewhere else but to y'all. So
Right.
Reggie, I give you your respect. That is my brother. Love him to death. He again, I'm gonna forever say you are my saving grace. Always in my back pocket because I'm always gonna call you.
I appreciate it. Juanita, I know this was out of your comfort zone, spur of
No,
the
you
moment, all
good.
of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, you were the blueprint that God gave me to build the confidence within me to say, Reggie, what you giving people actually works. Because
Mm-hmm.
there for a long time, I'm thinking, okay, let me connect with these people and then I'm going to invite them to church and then let the church do the rest. Let the pastor, the elders do the rest. But then once Juanita came into my life, I mentored her more than she actually went to church. But then when the pandemic came and the church closed,
That was the
when
worst
I
part ever.
when I gave her what I had and she applied what I had, she came out of the pandemic stronger and she was not connected to the church. By me seeing what God did with her, that built my confidence to where what I'm giving to people, I have the capacity to get the people where they need. They don't necessarily have to have the church. Do I discourage people from going to church? Absolutely not. But Juanito is a prime example of if you apply this word and apply the blueprint that God has given me,
Mhm.
church is not mandatory. It's not necessary. Do I want you to go? Absolutely. Go. If you feel the need to go. But however, God is raising up a people who are able to experience him on the most intimate level and not step foot in a building. Juanita is a prime example. So when I saw that it worked with her, I was like, shoot. God was like, shoot, I told you. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and start doing this with other individuals. Because what the Lord told me, he said, I don't trust my people with them people. Because Juanita was mishandled at church. I
Mhm.
was too. And some of us have been mishandled. So God don't trust his children with some of these environments that we're setting them in. So he said, Reggie, do it yourself. You don't have to do it yourself. I put enough in you to where you could do and get these people where they need to be and they don't have to step foot in nobody church. So I just took off with that. And Juanita was the person that he used to give me the example. And ever since then, I've been riding with it. But the one thing that Juanita has that accelerated her process, and she got the same heart as James, she has a willing spirit. She just hungry for the word. And I ain't never had to argue with her. We ain't never bumped heads. Man, we ain't never had no type of, I'm
Mm-mm.
sure we ain't always agreed, but we ain't
But
never
I
had no
respected
disagreement.
what you had to say. And I told Reggie one time, y'all, I said, Reggie told me to do something. I was like, man, that sounds so crazy. I don't know if this dude, I don't know what he got going on. I said, I prayed. And like I said, again, I got the confirmation. So I went back to Reggie. I was like, oh yeah, I prayed to God. And Reggie was looking at me like, you ain't believe, you ain't believe what I had to say. I'm like, I
Right.
just want to make sure.
I get it, and I'm not offended by that. Like I want people to go back and check with God. Because it's a win-win for me. The win is you're getting closer to God, and the other win is when God is backing up what I've said. I've actually gained influence and authority over that situation because now that person trusts me even more because what
Mhm.
I said is the same thing that God said. So
Yeah.
God will allow situations to pop off like that so that the person that is called into your life, God wants to elevate that influence. So he'll say, okay, since you don't believe the person that I sent into your life, I'm going to say the same exact thing they said. So I've seen that happen within the community. So, but Juanita, I ain't gonna keep you on long. I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone,
Oh,
and
look,
coming on
anytime.
live. So what now?
Anytime.
All right, I know I may hold you to it because I mean, I've already said, and I ain't throw your name out there, but I did tell the women I can only take them so far.
He
So
can't. That's true.
you get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need some. I'm gonna have to delegate some of these responsibilities because some of these women I just can only take them so far. Not because I don't have the ability. It's just
No, I get
where
it.
they are.
Hmm.
It could be a hindrance because you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need some women to help your boy out. You know what I'm talking about? But I ain't gonna hold you up, Juanita. I love you. If
Love
you ever
you.
need anything, hit your boy up. You know I'm a phone call, text message away. So um, appreciate you coming on.
No problem. And I'm gonna call you after you get off because I do need to talk to you. But yeah, that's another story. But
Oh,
y'all,
you know I'm gonna be eating. So
eating. Yeah. Oh, I gotta bring this up, y'all. I'm sorry. Reggie, one time for the one time. So y'all, every time I'm on the phone with Reggie, you gonna hear that air fryer going. You gonna hear that dog going a pack opening. you gonna hear something crunching like some fruit. I'm like, oh my goodness. If I had $1 million for every time I heard this man eat, I would be a rich person right now. You see, he can't stop eating online. What were you just eating a minute ago? Peanuts?
Nah, I ain't nothing. It's cucumber juice.
See, that's what I'm saying. You can't stop.
That's how I eat the word. Like it's I consume the word like I consume this. You
Well,
know what
you
I'm
need
talking
to
about?
make a whole bunch of them for a lot of people on this. I'm just joking, y'all. I'm joking.
Get your own. All
But
right, Juanita.
anyway, y'all, I really enjoyed this session, Reggie. Like I said, uh, if anything, just reach out to me. You know, I'm willing to help or whatever.
Okay.
All right. In the words of Reggie, holla at your girl.
All right, Juanita. Love you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye. She don't know how to get off of here.
Oh God, don't start. Hold on,
I
y'all.
got you.
Second.
Got you. Got you.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll repost this on my YouTube. It should be up within the next 24 hours or sometime tomorrow. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this word that went forth tonight. Thank you for your spirit. Thank you for your blood. Thank you for the people that you are raising up that are daring to be different. We thank you that you have given us this word and that we will start to correct ourselves immediately. Don't allow us to hold on to our toxic behavior. Open our eyes to where we will shun or dismiss things that we have once glorified. God, we know that you are a God who heals the sick, but you are also a God who gives sight to the blind. And it's not always naturally, it's spiritually. And we just know and have full confidence that tonight you have opened up our eyes on some things that we have seen exemplified in front of us and some things that we have exercised for years and is really toxic and is really preventing us from getting closer to you and experiencing you on a supernatural level. So, God, we pray that you continue to open our eyes to things that we need to correct. The things that we need to correct, allow us to be able to see it in other individuals and allow it to annoy us, that we will start to correct those things, because anything that's preventing us from getting closer to you, God, we want you to take it away. God, we thank you for this revelation, the downloads, and this platform that you have gifted us with. May we do a good job of cultivating and building this community that you have provided us with. We thank you for the people that are a part of this community and the ones to come. We pray that you are raising up leaders to where it's just not one individual that's discipling the people. We need some other people to help this community build. And I know that I'm not trying to do it myself. So God, raise up some individuals where I could delegate some of these responsibilities, because I can only take them so far. So we thank you for the increase, the maturation, and the leaders that you are raising up. Thank you in advance, Holy Spirit. Thank you for hearing us. You always hear us when we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.